Japan is changing, and if you're planning a trip in 2026, some of the things you expect may not be the same anymore. I've spent years living and traveling around Japan, and I've learned that the difference between an amazing trip and a frustrating one can come down to knowing the rules, costs, and changes before you arrive. So, in this video, I'm sharing 10 things I think every tourist needs to know before visiting Japan in 2026. And if you love Japan travel tips, hidden places, and advice that can help you travel smarter, subscribe to the channel right now. And make sure you share this video with a friend or family member who's planning a trip to Japan because this information could save them money, time, and a lot of frustration. Let's get started. First, you need to understand that traveling in Japan in 2026 can cost more than it used to. One example is Kyoto's accommodation tax, which changed on March 1st, 2026. Depending on the price of your room, the tax can now reach 10,000 yen per person per night. That doesn't mean Japan is suddenly unaffordable, but it does mean I recommend building a little extra room into your travel budget. Don't plan your entire trip down to the last dollar. Second, pay attention to where you stay. Kyoto is one of the most popular cities in Japan, but popularity comes with a price. I've visited Kyoto many times, and one thing I've learned is that staying in the perfect location can make your trip dramatically easier. Look at transportation, walking distance, hotel taxes, and the total price, not just the room rate, you see when you first book. Third, if you plan to do a lot of shopping in Japan, pay attention to the tax-free shopping rules. Japan is changing how tax-free shopping works, so don't assume the process will be exactly the same as it was on your previous trip. My previous advice is this: before you arrive, check the current rules for the year you're traveling. That 5 minutes of preparation can prevent a very confusing situation at the airport. Fourth, if climbing Mount Fuji is on your bucket list, you need to plan ahead. The Yoshida Trail has a 4,000 yen hiking fee, a daily limit of 4,000 climbers, and entry restrictions from 2 p.m. until 3 a.m. for climbers who aren't staying at mountain huts. And this isn't something I would just show up and figure out. Mount Fuji is an incredible experience, but it needs to be treated like a serious mountain, not simply another sightseeing attraction. Number 5, check your visa requirements before you book anything. Japan's entry requirements and fees can change, and what applies to one nationality may not apply to another. So don't rely on TikTok, an old YouTube video, or something your friend did 5 years ago. Check the official requirements for your nationality and your travel dates before you leave. Number 6 is one I think is incredibly important. Japan is dealing with a huge number of international visitors, and some popular destinations are introducing stronger measures to deal with over-tourism. That means things like blocking private property, ignoring signs, creating crowds, being excessively loud, or treating neighborhoods like amusement parks can cause real problems. When I travel, I always remind myself I'm a guest. And I think that mindset can completely change the way you experience Japan. Number 7, don't make the mistake of thinking Japan is just Tokyo and Kyoto. I've traveled throughout Japan, and some of my favorite experiences have been outside the places everyone talks about. Japan has mountains, beaches, traditional villages, incredible food, islands, wildlife, historic towns, and countless places that international tourists never see. So if you have extra days, I strongly encourage you to look beyond the standard itinerary. You might discover the part of Japan you end up loving the most. Number 8, don't expect Japan to work exactly like your home country. You may notice fewer public trash cans than you used to. You may have to carry your trash with you. You may need to follow very specific rules on trains, at shrines, in restaurants, and in residential areas. But that's part of what makes traveling in Japan so interesting. Instead of asking, why don't they do it the way we do, I try to ask, how do they do it here? That small change and mindset can make you a much better traveler. Number 9, don't just collect famous landmarks. Of course, you should see places like Mount Fuji and Fushimi Inari and Shibuya and other famous attractions if they're important to you. But some of my favorite memories in Japan came from experiences that weren't necessarily on the top 10 list. Try something local, visit a smaller town, eat something you've never tried, take a train somewhere you've never been, talk to people, get lost within reason. Because sometimes the best travel memories are the ones you never planned. And finally, number 10, I think the biggest change tourists need to understand in Japan in 2026 isn't a tax, a ticket, or a new rule. It's how we travel. Japan is welcoming millions of visitors, and tourism is a huge part of the experience now. But the places we love can be damaged when too many people treat them carelessly. So when I visit Japan, I try to remember that I am not just taking photos, I'm experiencing someone else's home. And I think that's the mindset we all need to bring with us. So, those are 10 things I think every tourist needs to know before visiting Japan in 2026. Japan is changing, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The more prepared you are, the more you can relax, enjoy the experience, and appreciate what makes Japan so special. I've spent years traveling around this country, and I can tell you from experience, don't just visit Japan, experience it. If this video helped you, subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more Japan travel tips, hidden destinations, mistakes to avoid, and travel inspiration coming your way. And please share this video with your friends and family, especially anyone planning a trip to Japan. You might save them from making one of these mistakes. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep traveling.